Most crimes require proof of both a criminal action and criminal intent. Can a person be convicted of a crime if there's no proof she knew she was doing something wrong? That's the question in Fabritz versus Traurig. Virginia Fabritz and her 3-year-old daughter Wendy lived with Thomas Crockett and his wife Anne. Fabritz left Wendy with the Crocketts for 3 days to travel to her grandfather's funeral. When Fabritz returned, Wendy looked unwell. Wendy began to complain of cramps. Fabritz thought Wendy seemed feverish with the flu, but also noticed multiple severe bruises on Wendy's body. Fabritz bathed Wendy and put her to bed. Later that afternoon, Wendy seemed improved. She had some fluids and sat up for a while. An hour later, however, she vomited. Fabritz gave Wendy more fluids and some soda to settle her stomach and put her back to bed. Fabritz called a neighbor for help. When the neighbor came over, she too saw that Wendy had a fever. The neighbor asked about Wendy's bruises, and Fabritz replied, quote, "Tommy hits hard," unquote. The neighbor didn't know what was wrong with Wendy and left without suggesting medical assistance. Anne came home, and she and Fabritz discussed calling a doctor. Anne telephoned the hospital, and a doctor told her to bring Wendy in. Discovering that Wendy wasn't breathing, Anne called an ambulance while Fabritz gave Wendy mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Wendy was declared dead on arrival at the hospital. At some point, Fabritz said that she hadn't taken Wendy to the hospital because she was too ashamed of the bruises on the child's body. The doctors concluded that, 18 to 24 hours before her death, Wendy had been struck in the abdomen with a blunt object, rupturing her intestine and causing her to die from peritonitis. Fabritz had still been away when Wendy was injured. There was no evidence that Fabritz knew that Wendy would be abused while Fabritz was gone. Fabritz was charged with child abuse for failing to obtain medical attention for Wendy. At trial, the prosecution conceded that Fabritz hadn't struck Wendy and didn't know how or when she'd been hurt. Fabritz was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison. The Maryland Court of Special Appeals reversed, but the Maryland Court of Appeals, the state's highest court, affirmed the conviction. The Court of Appeals concluded that Fabritz's failure to obtain medical attention constituted cruel or inhumane treatment under Maryland's child abuse statute and caused Wendy's injury. Fabritz filed a petition for a writ of habeas corpus in federal district court, challenging the sufficiency of the evidence. The district court denied Fabritz's petition. Fabritz appealed to the Fourth Circuit.